bones. A sound heart is the life of the flesh, but envy rottens the bones. Proverbs 17:22. A merry heart does good like medicine, but a broken spirit, this sin of the spirit, whatever sin it is, today we happen to be talking about bitterness, but there are lots of sins in our spirit, things that affect our spirit man. And it dries our bones. Okay? Are you with me? Bitterness reveals itself by multiplying my reactions. Here, let me give you we have to do this quickly. Characteristics of bitterness. Okay, just see which one of these applies, all right? A characteristic of bitterness is a quick temper. Saul throwing spears. Saul even was, remember, Saul goes, nobody in my army can eat. Well, Jonathan, his very own son, was like off doing something that day, and he didn't know, and he starts eating honey because he's, and Saul finds out about it, and he's so hot-headed and quick-tempered, he's going to kill his own son. In fact, there was a day he knew that Jonathan had been with David, and he tries to kill Jonathan because he was so bitter and envious and taken up with David. So one of the characteristics of my bitterness is it's a quick temper. Secondly, it's an oversensitivity. Just jot this down. We can look it up. 1 Samuel chapter 18, verse 15. Oh, by the way, for Halloween, either today or tomorrow, is it chapter 28, babe? I think it is. Read 1 Samuel chapter 28. I started to preach on it today, and it's about Saul and the witch of Endor. It's a great Halloween read, okay? So anyway, never mind. All right. 1 Samuel 18:15 on oversensitivity. The third characteristic of bitterness is it always assumes the negative. It jumps to conclusions, just this negativity thing. Wow, maybe I am bitter. Because I'm just given over to that. The fourth characteristic of bitterness is it's an easy prey to gossip. The fifth one, that, by the way, jot down beside that Proverbs 26:24. Stubbornness. A cursing, criticizing tongue. Okay, I don't mean if you stub your toe or whatever. That's not the... I'm playing. A cursing, criticizing tongue where it's just always just at people. An inconsistency in faithfulness. An argumentative spirit. I know I'm going really fast. Yes, you are. This is going to sound like, yeah, babe, I think our teenage boy has bitterness because Bobby said one of the characteristics of it is no initiative. Man, I think, no, I'm playing. But there's this no initiative. And then it seeks revenge and it rejoices in the fall of another. One of the characteristics of bitterness is it seeks revenge and cannot wait until the other person falls. Oh, listen, that's a characteristic of a bitter sin of the Spirit. Why do I fail? Why do I fail to forgive one who's offended me? Why did Saul fail to forgive David, even though David didn't offend him? Why do I fail to forgive one who's offended? Two reasons. Either I don't see my own sin personally. Let me show you that. Matthew. I know I dropped a couple there, Herschel. This is the Matthew 7. You're doing awesome. Thanks for staying with me. Wow, I may have to read here's my Matthew 7. It's time for a new Bible. Let's see. Matthew 7, 1 through 5. Do not judge, or you too will be judged. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged, and with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. Wow, that one's scary. Here we go. Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? See, we don't want to see our own sin. It's so much easier to see sin in somebody else, but we don't want to see our own. And when we don't want to see our own, what happens is it means I can't forgive. How can you say to your brother, "Oh, let me take the speck out of your eye, Steve," when all the time there is a plank in mine? You hypocrite, Bobby. First take the plank out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly remove the speck. Okay? So, I don't see my own sin, and I justify, which is the second reason I don't forgive, is I justify my own sin based on how much I've been hurt. Oh, hello. I justify my own deal based on how much I've been hurt. Why should I forgive them? They were so much more wrong than I. Listen, it's not about them. It's about me. It's about me. I am responsible for me. And then I am responsible for them. Not they're responsible for them. Whoa, what? Yeah, I am responsible to make this right. If you've offended me or what, I have a responsibility because you are my brother or my sister to do all I can to make it right. This hurt friend thing I talked about way back, we have written letter after letter, email after email. I mean, to like, okay, when's enough? When there's restoration. How many times do I forgive my brother? Remember that whole little deal? 7 times? And then he thinks he's all bad. 70 times 7? You know, he's going, Jesus, yeah, okay, I'll do it 7. And Jesus goes, no. I mean, it's just infinity. Okay? All right. I'm going to stop right there. That's not going to wrap it up for you, I know. But we'll finish and get the answer to that next week. Okay? Y'all won't be here. La, 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 la. I'll send some notes with you, counselor.
We're not bitter about it.
So what do we do with a half a sermon? Here's what you do.
Call it part 1.
Huh?
Call it part 1.
Yeah, but I'm talking about how do we respond when I don't know the punchline? You do know the punchline, don't you? You really do. The punchline is, you know whether or not there is bitterness. And you know, because the Holy Spirit has revealed that, we have work to do. Listen to me. I say with all the love in my heart, let's not let our hearts get like this. After church, make sure you shake left hands with Eddie. Seriously, because as a picture, okay, God, that's not what I want my heart to be. Listen, I don't know about experiences in your life. I would never try to compare mine with yours. It wouldn't come close, I'm sure. But I know for me, in those hurts and disappointments, where I thought my rights had been violated, or whatever it was, there was an opportunity to grab it and hold it and begin to massage it and make it my identity and let all of those steps that I walked through go all the way through, holding grudges the whole 9 yards. I had an opportunity for that, and it would have ended up like this. I don't want that. I don't, and I don't want us to have that. Let me go a step further. I know that as a church, I'm really out there now. As a church, because of past hurts, there is a chance that Charlotte Road can look like this. Nope, not going to do it. And one of the answers that we'll look at next week is you begin to bless those people that hurt you. And so we find ways Not just, as a church, we find ways to bless. But even down where it's like close to home, like in the nitty-gritty hurt, the filth, he teaches, I have to find a way to bless Gary, to heap coals on his head. Remember, I've told you this before. I used to think of that, this is how sick I am. I used to think of that, man, heaping coals on their head sounded like, and so it's like, I'm going to be nice and heap coals on their head. That's not what it means. What it means is fire was like this important. You had to have fire back when this was written. And so people literally they wore these dills, it was like a warming tray, I don't know. Anyway, I'm playing. They wore these things that would be live coals, so that they would have fire wherever they went. It was just, and so what it's going is like, here, take my fire. Wow. Take one of the most precious things I have, I give it to you. And it wasn't to rub someone's nose in it. It's to come to that place where I go, yeah, I've been hurt, but I'm letting go, and now I'm going to bless you. That's how we get over our bitterness. We're going to finish up. Isn't that incredible? Listen, God is so awesome that He can take a half a sermon and just go, bam, Shelley Greeley. And He does surgery right where she's sitting with a half sermon. I want to give you a chance to respond to that. I do. I love you. Listen, you know me by now. It's been a long time, months and months and months, since I've been here telling you these same things, and I mean it with all my heart. This walking an aisle, packing it down here does nothing for my ego. Nobody moving does nothing against my ego. I'm not tied up. What I'm tied up in is loving you. I'm tied up in us all getting well. Us all, that God doing things. And for some of us, we're not going to get well today immediately. It's going to take a long time. I get that. That's what I'm after. Okay, so when I talk about an invitation and whatever, it's not like so we can count the number and send it to the Tennessee Baptist Convention. No. It's so we can be whole and sound and well, and our bones not, all those verses in Proverbs we just looked at, that our spirits are alive. The word spirit, the word spirit that's used there is the Greek word pneuma, which means breath. What bitterness does, it's like it suffocates. It takes the breath out of me. Like, okay, let me go. Some of us today are like gasping because bitterness has such a hold. Listen today. Come to Jesus. Come to Jesus. God, I'm suffocating in this. I can't do it another day. But Lord, I cannot forgive. I cannot do it. But you can through me. And so I fall on you today, Jesus, that you would do that in me and through me so that I can come to the place and go, I forgive. Okay, listen, this is going to sound heretical. I promise it's not. Some of us in here, I wish I had time to really explain this. Listen carefully so I don't have to just... Some of us need to forgive Him. You forgive God? Well, here's what I'm saying. Some of us have been so bitter and angry at God. I mean, it's one thing to be angry at Annie. It's another thing to be angry at Him. I'm disappointed in you, God. Why did you take my husband? I'm so mad at you, God. Why did you do this to me? You gave me why did you do this to me? You dealt me a bad hand, and on and on and on. Listen. Forgive, let it go. Let it go. Okay, Father, forgive me as I forgive you. I know that sounds weird. Okay, don't take me wrong, all right? But there's this sense of, I forgive you. I let that go is what I'm saying. I let it go, God. Not anymore. Not anymore will I hold you responsible. Not any longer will I be upset and angry and bitter at you. I let it go today. Okay. Tara, would you just play something just softly? Listen, I'm not going to ask you to stand. I'm not going to. I don't want to do anything like that. You would think, okay, that here comes what's expected. I just want to give you a chance as Terry plays something quietly. You can make a deal right there, wherever you sit. Just, oh God, I don't know. I hurt. I'm like this. I don't want to put words in your mouth. Some of you may need to come and pray here, because it's like God going, you don't have to say anything, but I want people to know publicly that I'm doing something in your life, because it will encourage them to let me do something in theirs. Some of you might need to pray or talk. I'll turn my mic off and we'll pray. I want to give you just a minute to respond, okay? Would you do that? Just in the quiet of the moment, with your heads bowed and your eyes closed, would you let God laser and spiritually laser surgery your heart? Don't walk out of here like Eddie's left hand. Today, God can do something in you. Father, do what you long to do. Do right now, God, what you've been longing to do in us. We say yes, God. We say yes. Do your work in me, Jesus.
I have a maker. He formed my heart, and before even time began, my life was in His hands. And He knows my name. And He knows my every thought.